What's up? This is Derek Brown of the Carolina Panthers. Shout out to Rashad and David of the Panther Nation podcast. The voice of the Panther Nation. Make sure y'all like them and subscribe. Keep pounding.
Yo, this is Panther legend Jonathan Stewart, and I just wanted to shout out to Rashad Beard and David Rhodes of Panther Nation podcast. The voice of the Panther Nation. Keep pounding.
You are now tuned into the Panther Nation podcast.
Delone fires to an open Smith. Steve Smith is going to go all the way. No flag foul. Smith scores, and the Carolina Panthers win in overtime.
Seal gives the drive. He's intercepted by Keekly. Keekly inside the 20 to the 10 and to the end zone for another Panthers.
Welcome to the Panther Nation podcast. And here are your hosts, Rashad Beard and David Rhodes.
Panther Nation, what's cracking? It's your boys, Rashad and Dave. And listen, we have come to a day that we have all been waiting for. Although not official yet, the job has been offered to Scott Fitterer, former vice president of football operations or whatever he was at Seattle. And listen, he's our guy now. Dave.
Well, he ain't our guy yet.
Well, not yet. Well, we're going to proceed as if he is, because it's pretty much almost a done deal.
Yo, what did that man tell us no, man?
That would be pretty embarrassing. I just saw what Marcus put.
Yes, Marcus, it would be beyond embarrassing if that man.
That would be super embarrassing to have several people turn you down. But yeah, so it's finally been done, Dave. So we know who our GM is moving forward. And it's really weird process. We interviewed 15 dudes, and this guy came in pretty late in the process, got an interview, then got to proceed to make the Final Four. The Final Four was Monty Ossenfort, Scott Fitterer, who else? Adam Peters, and who was the other guy?
Ryan Poles.
Poles. And it got narrowed down to 3. Adam Peters got kicked out. We were like, oh crap, they're about to pick Monty Ossenfort, who is the Colts guy, but he has very heavy ties to New England Patriots. So I know I got a little nervous. Every guy I was picking was getting either they turned down the job or they were looking elsewhere, or I didn't know what was going on. I was preparing for the worst, to be honest with you. And all of a sudden, this afternoon they come and say, "Hey, Scott Fitterer is our guy." And so, Dave, when you saw that name, what was your initial reaction?
I said, "Does he have Patriots ties?" And I looked and I said, "Oh no, he doesn't have Patriots ties." I said, "All right, I'm cool with it." I would have probably preferred Poles based on the Final Four, but I'm cool with it. I can't be mad at this one. Marcus brings it back up about the fact that Dodds pulled out of the process, mainly because Rule would have had too much power. And,
we knew that though. We said that.
We said
that. We said that already.
Yeah. So, but now it's coming to fruition, right? So with that, we know what the deal was. Considering those circumstances, this made the most sense. He's kind of done a similar thing in Seattle, although people keep forgetting that Pete Carroll was a NFL head coach before he went and made USC relevant again. So people keep forgetting the fact that man coached for the Patriots and the Jets.
Yeah. So when I first saw it was Scott Fitterer. Here's my initial reaction. I was like, okay, that's cool. Like, I wasn't upset. I was not, overly joyed. I was happy it was not Monty Ossenfort. I would have been cool. I would have been happy and excited about Ryan Poles. I would have been okay. I would have felt the same way with Adam Peters. Peters is cool. Everybody liked him, but I was never a huge fan of Peters. I thought he was just okay. But now it comes along, and this, Scott Fitterer is the man. I'm like, I'm not mad. I'm not upset. Listen, you're not going to get the top guy because of what I think whatever Jonathan Jones said about Ed Dodds. You're not going to get a top guy in that manner. You're not going to be able to get top talent when you have Matt Rule having too much. And there's already conflicting reports whether the guy has 53-man roster control or not. There's already conflicting reports about it. Who's going to control it? Now, I will say a plus side to Scott is that he's used to working in that environment, right? He's actually used to working with a coach that has, experience. It has 53-man control in Pete Carroll. So it's the same. It's the same thing. Same scenario. Pete Carroll, he has personnel control. So it's a very similar something that he's used to, and I think that's what made the situation attractive for Scott. Is that, hey, I've been here before. You know what I'm saying? I've been down this road. I know how to work with a coach that wants control over the roster, and I think that's what made it attractive for Rule. This isn't rocket science, man. Like we pointed out everything along every step along the way. We said, hey, this is why this guy would be a good fit. This is why this guy wouldn't be a good fit. And essentially with Ed Dodds, who was the best candidate, turned it down for the reasons we said he would turn it down. Okay,
Yep.
He turned it down. So, and this hire makes sense because Scott knows how to work with a guy that makes personnel decisions. And I think I don't like. See, what I don't like is people on Twitter saying, "Oh, I think he's a good fit for what Matt Rule wants." No, we don't need a good fit for what Matt Rule wants. Matt Rule has not shown enough for us to trust what he can do. He doesn't have enough experience for me to just jump behind and jump along what he wants to do. Doesn't work like that, bro. You got to earn your clout. You can't just come in and say, "Oh, we're gonna follow your lead." No, you ain't done nothing. You haven't done nothing at this level for us fans to deserve your blind leadership. We're not doing that. So that's why we need a dude that's gonna challenge you. And I feel like Fitterer is a deep. He knows how to do it both ways. He's going to challenge you at the same time, but he's going to know how to compromise. I thought this was one of the only guys that had that blend. You know what I'm saying? I think he's really the only guy that worked in a situation where, the personnel control was on the line. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying he has experience with it. So I don't know, man. That's all I'm saying is that, listen, I'm not going to just get and the thing. That's why I was not happy with any of the guys that had ties to Matt Rule, Adam Peters included, albeit very little minor interaction what it was back in UCLA. I don't want anybody that has ties to this cat that's just going to say, hey, yes, we're going to do what you want to do. No, I'm good. We're not going to do that. You need to be challenged, B. No, I like Rule. No, see, this is a misconception. I think Rule is cool. But he hasn't done nothing. He hasn't proven anything yet. I'm not going to put blind faith behind him until you prove something. Not to say that his direction is incorrect or not correct. I just don't want to put blind faith behind you. You know what I'm saying?
Now,
so I don't. Go ahead.
I'm with you, Shad. Like you can't get, like, the man already making $9 million a year. He damn near has the keys as it is, and I think Tepper. And I don't think Tepper's going to admit it now, but I think down the line he might accidentally do it in an interview. But I think Tepper's realized that he probably shouldn't have gave Rule the keys.
Facts.
Or paid him he was going to get the keys.
And you saw the article or something came out to where Rule and Tepper were bumping heads.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? On the GM hire. Because I'm pretty sure Rule was like, yo, you got to hire me a dude that's going to give me all I want, for lack of a better term. And Tepper was like, nah, you ain't done enough yet. And we can work this out. We can compromise. And I feel like Fitterer was the compromise.
Yeah.
Just me.
Yeah, but I think Fitterer is going to get to a point, like, the things that I'm going to be curious about this deal. The first thing I'm going to wonder is, how long is this deal going to be? I want to know how long the deal is going to. Yes. Because that's important. That's very important. Like, I think that is going to show how long Rule truly has in two ways, right? So let's say it's like a short-term deal. Let's say it's like a 3 or 4 year deal. right? Rule still has 6 years left. In about 3 years, a decision can be made, right? Scott might say, yo, I'll extend, but we got to get Rule out of here. And if Tepper's like, nah, we can't do that, then Scott's like, well, I'm out.
That's why that's a great point. That's why you can't hire a guy that has ties to the kid. You can't hire a guy that has ties to Tepper. It don't work like that. Because he can't. He's not going
to Rule.
Excuse me, to Rule. I'm sorry. You can't hire a guy that has ties to Rule because of that. What Dave just said. You got to have that independent voice. Somebody that's going to provide balance. Okay. You can't just give this dude all the keys and give him a yes man. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And I think Reese was one of those candidates. There's a couple of guys in there though that had ties back to him, and I was like, nah, I'm good. I don't want that. I don't want that one. So, so Dave,
well, you're seeing what's happening, man. Our entire all our offensive coaches are taking jobs elsewhere. There's a reason. It's not an accident, guys, because I think they see what's about to happen. They see it coming. You know, that's what. I'm seeing it. Like, my theories are starting to make more sense by the day at this rate.
Yeah, y'all trying to get Dave, bro. Y'all be coming at Dave. But real quick, we got to hit the pause button on Fitterer real quick, Dave, and we must acknowledge the fact that the Lions hired Brad Holmes.
Yes, sir.
Who was an Aggie.
We must
point that out.
He not only was an Aggie, he was on that Black College Football Championship team in 1999 as well.
Facts. So we must shout out to Brad Holmes, Aggie pride to him. I try to tell y'all A&T is about this football life. Y'all don't believe me, but since we had the most viewership at that point, we had to go ahead and shout out to Brad Holmes and Aggie pride to that cat, man. So real quick, make sure y'all hit that like button. There's 90-something people watching. Make sure you hit the like button and all that, subscribe and all that good stuff. Now, real quick, back to Scott Fitterer. All right, so let's kind of track this situation real quick. Fitterer has been with Seattle since 2001, initially as an area scout, and then he moved on to he got promoted to director of college scouting in 2011 to 2014. Now, one can isolate those 4 drafts and look at what he did in those 4 drafts. And look what was done in those 4 drafts by Seattle. And there was some pretty darn good drafts. If you go back and look at 2011, they got Richard Sherman in the 5th round. They got KJ Wright in the 4th round. So some really good play. Byron Maxwell in the 6th round. Some of the Legion of Boom cats. And then you go up to 2012 was where it really knocked it out the park. They drafted Panther legend. Yeah, I said it. Panther legend Bruce Irvin. And if you're a longtime listener of the podcast, you know why Bruce Irvin is a Panther legend. Don't come at me if you don't know why Bruce Irvin is not a Panther legend, because I'm gonna have to school you. Bruce Irvin is a Panther legend in my book, and we will not tolerate any Bruce Irvin slander on this podcast. Okay, so Bruce Irvin is a Panther legend. So they got Bruce Irvin in the 1st round. They got Bobby Wagner in the 2nd round. Russell Wilson in the 3rd round. So that 2012 draft was a monster. Okay, probably one of the better drafts, probably the best Seattle draft they've had. And then 2013 was kind of weak. I don't see really any huge names. 2013, 2014 was a little on the weak side too. But that 2012 draft pretty much set them up to win that Super Bowl. A lot of contributors in that Super Bowl in the Super Bowl roster. So if you isolate what he was responsible for in those 4 seasons, it's pretty good draft history. Now, if you back out of those 4 years and you look at the entire picture, bro, it ain't necessarily pretty. Okay, it ain't necessarily pretty. He got promoted to vice president of football operations, where he splits responsibilities alongside Trent Kirshner. They kind of do some cross training situation where Fitterer runs the football scouting side, the college scouting side, and Kirshner he manages the pro personnel side. So we got the echo, Dave.
I know, because my headphones decided to die on me. I'm about to fix that. Continue.
So, it's kind of difficult, but yeah. So we got yeah, it's not bad. But yeah, there you go. Thank you. So we got Kirshner. They split duties, and they do this cross training situation. and they all answer up to their GM. Okay, so they got a nice little front office situation that they have going on there. I like how they have it set up. But if you go and look past that 2014, their drafts get really funky, and they do a lot of trading. They do a lot of trading back. If you want to, they move around a lot in these drafts. And I don't know who necessarily to contribute it to, but they do a lot of training, a lot of trading, a lot of trading in the draft. All right. So real quick, if you go to 2013, they traded to the Vikings for Percy Harvin. I can kind of let me go through this. I got it. Here. Let me see.
The bottom line is that this guy's a 50-50 guy when it comes to the draft. From that standpoint, like, he had that one great draft and he built that team. But you know what else? You know what the big kicker that I've noticed about Mr. Fitterer? He don't be drafting quarterbacks in the first round, bro.
Yeah, that's true. That's who they had Russell Wilson too, man. And they take some chances. They had Matt Flynn too back in the day. They take some chances on some guys. They don't. I haven't seen them draft quarterbacks high at all. Obviously, because Russell Wilson is there. Even Russell Wilson himself was took in the third round. So they don't. I don't think they value the. I'm not gonna say they don't value the quarterback position. And who's to say that he could have a completely different philosophy in his mind. You know what I'm saying? He himself could have his own philosophy that he can employ here. So let's not act like he can't divert from what was done in Seattle. Okay, so he could have a completely different philosophy. But if he does take that philosophy from Seattle, they did a ton of trading, bro. A ton of trading. I mean, and I say back in I don't know what year this was, but one year they traded the 12th overall pick. They traded back 3 spots to Philadelphia, and they got additional 4th and a 6th round in exchange for what turned into defensive tackle Jay Howard and cornerback Jeremy Lane. So that was one year. And then in 2016, they shipped the 26th overall pick to Denver for pick 31. So they traded back five spots and a third round selection. They got the 31st overall pick and a third round selection was turned into Nick Van Vanette. And then the Broncos ended up drafting Paxton Lynch that year. And then with that other pick, they drafted a lineman. But some of these picks that they use, they don't really hit on. You know what I'm saying? They get a lot of picks, but their drafts haven't been that great. I mean, they success rate haven't been that great. If just to be quite frank. And then so that was 2016. 2017 started. I think he looked to get a money heist. He traded down twice out of the first round, where he acquired a 3rd, 4th, and a 7th round, and those picks turned into Lano Hill, Tedrick Thompson, and Chris Carson. They do hit on running backs. I think that's a credit to their system. They try to be a run first team. They used to be a run first team. I won't say that anymore. But except for Rashad Penny, I don't know about that one. That one was
well, he kept getting hurt. He got hurt. It isn't like the kid's not talented. He just keeps getting hurt.
Whatever.
It's too soon to say, but.
But we'll get to Penny in a second. But then also in 2017, they traded down 1 slot in the 2nd round with the Jaguars and acquired an additional 6th round pick. That's where they drafted Malik McDowell, who didn't pan out. They drafted him 35th overall. That one didn't pan out. Didn't pan out at all either. And then in 2018, they sent the 18th overall pick to the Packers in exchange for the 27th overall pick. And that's when they took Rashad Penny. So that was 2018. You know what I'm saying? 2018. So that's when they took him.
It's been 3 years, so we could call him a bust.
Exactly. And and they got a 3rd round pick and a 6th round pick. But then in 2020, they had 2 first round picks. They traded one, and that first round pick was acquired by that was the Frank Clark trade. So they ended up with 2. They sent one of those to Green Bay. That was their pick 21 for the 30th overall pick, and got a pair of 4th round picks. And then later in that round, they sent that same pick that they got. So they took that pick 30, and dropped to the Giants, and they traded that to the Giants and dropped in the second round at pick 37. So they did do a lot of maneuvering in the draft. And I don't know if he's going to take that same philosophy here and bring that to Carolina. But I like trading back. But at the same time, when you trade back, you got to hit on those picks. And they have not done that.
But then again, at the same time, considering the situation that we're in, man, and considering the circumstances, I agree that you need to hit on them. But I think the philosophy of trading back is something that Carolina needs because we have so many holes. So we really need to do something. Like, I agree we need to hit on these things, but we need to trade back. I think we need to figure out, I'm hoping that we figure out a plan to try to take that 8th pick and get a gold mine of picks. Get more picks for this draft to fix all the holes that we have and give Rule an opportunity to try to build his team.
Yeah, the more picks, the better. And again, you got to be smart about it, right? If your guy's sitting there 8, take him. All right. If somebody drops in your lap, you take him. But if you see what the talent behind there, you could trade back a few spots, acquire an additional third, an additional second. Like, come on, man, you gotta pick up the phone. You got to pick up the phone. All right. So I'm all about that trade back life. I have no problem with the trade back life. And it just depends who's on the board. You can find talent. I think, in fact, if we look in the draft a left tackle, some of these once you get past Penny, the left tackle position, you could probably get one at pick 15. You can get a good left tackle. You can probably get a Slater or a Christian Darrisaw or whoever at pick 15, and then acquire some more draft capital. So it's all in what this dude's philosophy. I do love the trade back philosophy. I love it. Get as many picks as possible, bro. I love that. That's one aspect I do love about it. But they ain't hitting on a lot of these drafts, man. I'm telling you that right now. They trade back a lot, but they ain't hitting. They are not. Their drafts have been bad, average to bad. Okay, it's average to bad. I'm just being quite frank. Okay, just being frank. All right. So again, let's see. Just to address this, go ahead.
Did we answer J Stubbs' question about that?
That's where I was going.
Yeah. All right.
Shout out to 89 J Stubbs for the super chat. He says, "Do we feel good about this hire?" I think it's a man hire. I answered that earlier. I think it's an okay hire. Not excited, and I'm not not mad about it.
I think it's a good hire, man. Considering the circumstances, it's a good hire. Because, like, you got to remember what the circumstances are looking like, right? The first thing you got to remember is that whoever the GM was going to get selected as, they were going to have the ability to pick their own head coach, right? So when that happened, you pretty much eliminated most of the top GMs. Like, the guy, the Aggie that went to Detroit, Brad Holmes, he's going to get to pick his head coach. Like, that's important to a lot of general managers to be able to pick their head coach. The GM that comes here isn't going to be able to do that. So you eliminate all the ones that are probably really, really good because they want to pick their own coach. Dawes walked out the door because he wanted to pick his own coach. You know what I'm saying? So that changes the perspective. So for me, considering the circumstances, considering that the new GM was going to have the ability to pick his head coach off the rip, this was a good hire. I mean, the guy did build, even though he hasn't been hitting on the draft, maybe he did better on the free agency end, and I think he has. He hasn't. He was there. He's been there since the Holmgren days, and he was there for the run when they went to the Super Bowl. I think both times, all 3 times actually, because Seattle's been there 3 times. So when you put it from that perspective, he knows he's seen success, he's seen rebuild, he's seen it all. So from that aspect, considering the circumstances, the fact that he didn't have a Rule connection, it's a good hire to me. Like, because this hire is going to potentially create a power struggle, which is probably necessary.
It's necessary.
I know some of you guys like, I don't like the power struggle. Nah, fam. You paid this man $9 million a year. This man got $9 million a year so Urban Meyer could get 12. So yeah, you gotta think about the fact that this is a hire. It's a good hire for us, and it's gonna force Tepper's reckoning at some point. So I'm fine with it because it kind of reduces the yes man aspect of it a little bit.
So Dave, let me pose this question to you. What do you think about? Because we talked about this a little bit before we went on, but what do you think about Tepper's flip flopping as far as what he wants in the GM? I mean, he did the same thing with the coach, but what do you think he's? Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think about him saying he want an analytics guy, and we don't have an analytics guy in our damn front office at all? So what? I mean, we do have a guy technically, but we don't have that leadership role as far as analytics go. So what do you think about him saying one thing and then doing another twice?
The man's an owner, man. He could do whatever the hell he wants, for one, and maybe that was just his. All right, so he could do for one, he could do whatever the hell he wants. For two, he needed a reason of why to get rid of the people that he got rid of, and that's what he rolled with because it was kind of hard. Like it's easy to when you fired Rivera, you could have easily just said it was just time for a change. He's been here a long time, and that would have been done with it, right? And he could have been done with it, and I think the fan base would have been fine with that because that's how I felt about the situation anyway. But once you say, "Oh, I want somebody that's more about the analytics and more data driven for a head coach," and then you hire Matt Rule, who is a certifiable old school coach. Now he might do sports science, okay, but overall, Rule is an old school coach, right? So you kind of didn't do what you said you were going to do, and then you fire Hurney, saying the same thing. He's old school, and then you bring a guy who's been in Seattle for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? So like you can't. So you're not practicing what you're preaching at this point, and that's fine. It's your team. You can do what the hell you want, but like call it a buck. Like, and sometimes he tells on himself, just like when he said, "Well, maybe people have said we probably should have fired the GM with the head coach." No, you should have fired the GM with the head coach and give the GM a chance to hire a coach. And otherwise, you would have folks saying they don't want to go to Carolina.
So real quick,
we could have had an Aggie in the room. You know what I'm saying? Carolina.
It would have been a wrap. It would have been a wrap.
Dog.
Y'all,
they don't understand. Dog. We just had a freaking vice president nominee that went to HBCU. They were out here. You had AKAs out here donating $19.08. Like, you don't understand how our culture moves. Do you have any idea if they would have had an Aggie as a GM? But that Aggie ain't going to come here because he wanted to hire his own head coach.
He wouldn't have. Yeah, true. But it would have been so good.
Like, oh my God. Could you imagine a G-Ho with him as the GM? Bro. Dog.
And Dave, not to mention, you know those Sunday games usually be home games during G-Ho too.
Yeah.
Those usually be home games.
Could you understand the level of the scandal that could have happened? We could have had this crazy NFL report. Panthers GM caught up during G-Ho. That could have been the title. Like, could you understand the type of chaos that could have happened if we would have had an Aggie GM in Carolina?
Yeah, it would have been crazy. It'd have been crazy. All right, so let's focus again. So real quick, let's just kind of assess this. We're picking 8th overall. Listen, and shout out to JJ from Panthers Culture. I think he tweeted this earlier. He said, it's hard to tell how this guy would approach picking 8th overall. Because the last time they were even close to the situation was 2010, where they picked number 6 and they drafted Russell Okung. Okay, they drafted Russell Okung, and since then, since that draft, they haven't drafted no higher than pick 15, which is insane to me. And so,
but once again, that says a lot of how successful that franchise has been.
Yeah. So, true, and it's also due to them trading back too. They have traded back. But yeah, that's a crazy thing. So real quick, Dave, I got to get this out and then we're going to open up the phone lines. But we got to keep an eye on what's going on with the Joe Brady situation because we still have vacancies.
I've been watching.
We got to keep an eye on that because it looks like he's leaning Falcons and it's looking like we could have an opening at our offensive coordinator position. Okay.
But I already know who's going to get that.
Who, Nixon?
Oh yeah. If Nixon doesn't get it, my theory has been fulfilled. Because that means Tepper's involved in the offensive side of the ball. Like, so there's two ways this could go. if Joe Brady gets the head coaching job with Atlanta, because that's where it's looking like right now. Like if the Fontenot guy gets the GM position for the Falcons, who's with the Saints, he's going to bring in Joe Brady to be the head coach for the Falcons. Joe Brady has already been reported of being a finalist for the Falcons head coaching vacancy. So if that happens, but we won't know until the Saints are out out of the playoffs. If that happens, Joe Brady will likely be the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. If that occurs, if Nixon is not the OC, then you have to question who's making a decision on the coordinator side on that end. You have to question at that point.
Dave has been on. I'll give Dave credit for this. He's been saying this since pretty much day one that Joe Brady was a Tepper move more than a Rule move, because I think Nixon was Rule's OC at Baylor.
Yep.
So that maybe Nixon was the guy he wanted to hire as OC, and that Tepper came in and said, "Nah, Joe, look at that shiny toy at LSU. He did great things. Let's know we need to get him." And that's probably what he did. He went out and got him, and now he's going to take a job elsewhere. Go ahead.
My ultimate theory is Rule wanted to have his guys to be the DC and the OC. Tepper was cool with him having a defensive guy. That's why Phil Snow's the DC. But when it came to the offense, he wanted somebody shiny, and that's how Joe Brady ended up there.
Facts. I don't disagree, Dave. I think you're right.
And the thing is, the fact that Nixon and I think to keep Nixon there, you keep Nixon there, so at least he has a job for when he left from Baylor, right? Mm-hmm. So then, if this happens, it happened much quicker. Rule will get the opportunity to promote Nixon from inside.
Okay,
now,
so Dave, let's talk this power struggle out. We about to talk this out right now. You let me know what's going to happen. So Dave, there is a team that just fired their offensive coordinator in Seattle. Seattle just fired their offensive coordinator, Brian Schottenheimer.
I would listen. Let me explain something to you right now, brother. If we bring that guy in, I'm gonna lose my shit.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying that.
I'm going to lose my shit. I'm gonna lose my shit.
Why, Dave?
He's not a good offensive coordinator at all. Let me be clear. You guys like Mike Shula? Then you'll love Brian Schottenheimer.
Yeah, he's not a guy that tends to adjust. I think their offense was hot early in the season, and they slowed down tremendously. It appears that there was a power struggle in Seattle. I've been doing some research, and in Seattle, it appears that Pete Carroll wants to go back to the run first, and Schottenheimer was about this slinging life. He was trying to open it up, pass the ball, and Pete wants to go back to the run game. So that's essentially why. And this is all speculation. But it appears that they weren't on the same page.
You know what the irony of that is though? Because his dad, Marty, I think Marty's his dad, right? I know they're related.
Marty, yeah, I think I don't know. Don't.
But either way, Marty was about running the ball. So that's the most hilarious thing to me.
Nah, man, they were about this sling life, spread it out, take shots downfield.
Not Marty.
No, I'm talking about Brian.
Brian. That's the thing that's crazy. Like Marty was about that run life. He was always about that run life. So it's kind of crazy that his son's like, "Nah, we gonna slang this thing," and Pete's like,
"Yeah,
nah, I need you to be like more like your dad."
He wants to run it. So it appears that there was a power struggle, and that's essentially why they let him go. But I mean, all those people that were crying about deep shots, I think they would love some Brian Schottenheimer. So
not with Teddy Bridgewater.
I'm just saying, bro. I'm not advocating for Brian Schottenheimer. But what I'm saying is this is the kind of power struggle that we could 89 J Stubb dropping all these super chats, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks 89 J Stubbs, man. Appreciate it.
So Tepper gonna ask Madden every offensive play. That's funny. That is funny, actually. But yeah. So listen, I think that I'm not advocating for either guy, but what I'm saying is this is the kind of struggle that could happen, right? Maybe Scott comes in and says, "Hey, I want to bring in Schottenheimer. I think he's the guy." And Rule's like, "Nah, I got an internal OC. This is who I want." and Jeff Nixon. Who gets the, I'm just saying that's just hypothetically. And I think Dave is absolutely correct. You will find out a lot once Joe Brady's out the door and whoever's named offensive coordinator. You're gonna see from that hire. You're gonna know a lot. You're gonna know a lot. So interesting, very interesting. Good observation there, Dave. All right.
I mean,
So
it's just like, because the thing is, and then like I saw there was some video I saw where like they were saying that the folks didn't know each other, like they didn't know each other like that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, so like, dude, like the pieces are like boop, 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 boop. They're just coming together at this point. But we'll see.
All right,
Who do
so
you
I'm gonna
think Joe
open.
Brady? No, I'm gonna be all
Okay.
right. I'm gonna answer Marcus's question about who we think Joe Brady's gonna take from the staff. Joe Brady is gonna probably take folks that have already left Carolina. Like LSU should have a reason to be nervous right now. Cause I think Joe Brady will probably go after folks from LSU.
Well, they're fine though because they got new guys anyway. So I think they could be already preparing for that. And Jake P's probably going to bring in his own guys anyway. So I don't think it's a big deal. I think they'll be fine. But so I dropped the if you want to come and join us on live, they come talk about the hire. I dropped it in the chat. Just hit that StreamYard link. It should be pinned to the top. If y'all want to come in and talk for about 30 minutes, and let your voice be heard real quick while people are getting their mind right. Listen, appreciate the support, bro. We almost at 4,000 subscribers, and if we get there, it's gonna be a huge party on draft night. I'm giving away mad stuff. Listen, we just had the 3K giveaway about 3 months ago, and we are about to hit 4K in a few months, or excuse me, really soon. We only need 300 more subs. The draft videos have been doing very well. I'm a draft. I just got a super dope I guess suggestion on doing like a free agent yay or nay thing. So I'm gonna take that and do that. I think that was super dope. Whoever it was, I don't have his name on top. I have to go back and look, but that was super dope suggestion. So I'm gonna do that. So listen, I'm about to be dropping all kind of content, bro. So hey man, get the likes up, get the subscribes up, get the comments up. And let's get the 4,000 for the draft so we can make this thing happen. Shout out to Tyree Ross that says following Seattle blueprint. I'm not mad at it at all. All right, let's get in here, guys. Let's start with Noli. Noli, what's good, bro?
Not much. How are y'all?
What's good, man?
Not much. Higher at first, I was kind of like meh, but after looking at it, I mean, you could do a lot worse. So I'm not. It sucks. It's such a low bar, but we avoided the New England guys.
That's all I wanted. Ultimately,
Yeah.
that's all I wanted. That was the goal. I was like, Patriot, no Patriot, no Patriot.
Yeah. And funny, we forget Adam Peters worked with the Patriots for like 5 or 6 years. So,
Yep.
Overall, I'm interested to see, obviously, what he's going to do with the contracts coming up. I think the draft is going to kind of tell us who has more say. I still think it's Rule at the moment, but I could see a power struggle coming. I just want to know what about him, I guess, drew him. Maybe it's that perfect mix you said, but it's crazy because he was like one of the last people to get interviewed. And then immediately they scheduled a second interview. They flew him in, and it was like they hit it off.
Well, they were in the playoffs too, though.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so, I'm interested to hear the man speak. Obviously, they're going to give all political answers. But as far as the offensive coordinator, another name to watch out for is Sean Ryan. He worked with Rule with the Giants for 1 year. That was a name floated around before. He's an NFL guy. Before we hired Brady, was the Giants wide receivers coach when Odell was there. I believe he was recently just with the Lions, but that's another guy. I think Dave is absolutely right. Joe Brady being a Tepper hire, no connection whatsoever to Rule. So I think Nixon. or Sean Ryan would be the guy. And I think those guys would actually last longer because you don't want a revolving door. Because I don't know how similar their offense is going to be to Brady's. I don't imagine it will be.
Yeah, that's the thing with me, man. Like, I want Rule to be able to bring his guys in so he can try to build the offense that he wants. Like, I think people got this perception that I want Rule to fail. I don't want Rule to fail. Let me be clear. I don't want the guy to fail.
Yeah.
I just want there's a level of accountability that's expected because you are now the head coach here. Yes. And there are head coaches that came before you and what they did, and that's what the expectation is. Mm-hmm. Like, you ain't gonna be out here. You can't be out here making $9 million a year, and you ain't doing what you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
So that's what it boils down to. I want Rule to succeed, but some of the moves that I've noticed is not a good look for him. The fact that he didn't get to hire his OC, I stand by that he didn't get to pick Brady.
Yeah,
I'm rolling with that.
You can tell though. You can tell.
Like the comments after these press conferences when things don't work out on the offensive side of the ball, you just see it throughout the year. So for me, it was just a no-brainer. Like, I'm like, yo, he didn't hire this guy, so give that man a chance to hire his guy. And if you guys don't like the offense that shows up when he gets to hire his guy, then it's time to make that man accountable.
And I think let me jump in there real quick. I think that's important when it comes to talking about drafting the quarterback too, because you cannot draft a quarterback right in the current situation we're in right now. You cannot draft a quarterback into this.
Absolutely
you can't. You cannot draft a quarterback into this situation. And if Joe Brady's our OC next year, there's no way you draft a quarterback. Zero chance. There's gonna be some, and I've been saying this, y'all. I'm telling y'all gonna listen to me one day. I keep tweeting it, I keep saying it, but y'all gonna listen to me one day. You don't draft a quarterback with influx or with new systems, with quarterbacks having to learn new systems. That's how you get dudes in the cycle, and it's not gonna work. You got to make sure from the top down, everything has to be in place. I've been saying this since day one. You got to make sure your owner's on the same page as the GM. GM got to be on the same page as the coach. The coach got to be on the same page as the OC. And until that foundation is set, you cannot draft a quarterback, bro. It sounds easy. Oh, just draft a guy. Yeah. And then he gets has a new OC next year, and we're screwed.
All right, pull up Matt Willie's comment, man, so I can clear.
All right, Noli, go ahead and wrap up so we can get to Jason.
No, I was just saying, I completely agree. I'll be interested, I guess, what he does. I guess he can't do anything with McCaffrey. I hope he pays Moten. And then other than that, the only thing I want to know is I went back today and I listened to that Tepper 6-minute interview he did with Bill Volt when he fired Ron Rivera. And it's so funny to listen to that interview and the things this man wanted and the things he said in there compared to what we have now. I mean, he was talking about having like an analytical GM and like a vice president, a VP of player personnel, and assistant GM. I mean, go back and listen to that interview, and it's crazy to where we are now. And so I wonder if they are at least going to bring in somebody below Fred or whatever his name is, as I don't know. I want to
assistant GM. I do like the Seattle approach where they have the co-VP of football operations.
Okay.
One guy is a personnel guy, a pro personnel guy. The other guy is the college guy, and they cross train each other. That's how you keep continuity. Look at what they produce. Ed Dodds, Fitterer. Look at the tree that's coming out Seattle front office, bro. They're doing it the right way. And so that's an exciting thing about having this dude. Because look, we could have our own Ed Dodds, maybe. I don't know. So that's a positive.
See. Yeah,
we'll see. I mean, we'll see.
Exactly. I urge everyone to see that 6-minute video. I was just laughing watching that because Tepper was going off about, all this stuff.
I didn't have to see it because I remember it. Like, I remember it. And I'm like,
I forgot some of the nuggets he dropped. That's the problem. It was very specific what he wanted, and literally he did the exact opposite.
And that's the thing too. And I said it in the chat earlier today. I'm like, well, if the way you talked after you fired these guys, you could have just kept what you had. And I know the fan base wouldn't have liked it, but you could have just kept what you had.
Exactly.
You could, because even Rivera said he would probably still be the head coach right now if Cam was not injured. It's
No, that's a
probably
fact.
true. And it's true.
It's a fact. It's a fact.
Because the
Kevin
thing
Smith's
is,
fault.
I think Tepper had to find a reason to get rid of Rivera. And that's what it boils down to, right? You're not gonna get rid of him after the first year because it's the first year.
Mm-hmm.
But like Tepper had to find a reason to get rid of Rivera. And, 2 losing seasons in a row was enough for him.
All right, Jason, get on in here, bro.
Oh, all right. Lots to get to. So first off, I'm excited for this. Actually, I know I talked to Noli earlier, right after I saw it was announced. For a lot of the same things that Noli said, but which is it's kind of laughable. But because the bar is so low, I was like, "Ooh, we didn't get Nick Caserio, we didn't get Monty, we didn't get some Ivy League Princeton dude sitting back there with a calculator trying to pick players like Moneyball." So for that reason, I'm excited. And here's some things like y'all mentioned some of them. He was the college scout during the time where they built the Legion of Boom, right? So that's a positive. He comes from a background working with a very involved head coach, like as much as John Schneider is like the general manager out in Seattle, like that's Pete Carroll's show, like that's what it is. So it's a similar situation here. So that's got to be some comfort. What you already pointed out with the tree that was in Seattle, with Ed Dodds being there while Fitterer was there, the success that they're having now in their own career path. So those are all really big positive things. And hopefully this meshes well. I'm not going to sit here and say like we knocked it out the ballpark, that we got the best guy out of every single person. That's not what I'm going to say. I'm just saying I'm excited. So kind of like a Teddy situation. Like, let's give the guy a chance, see what he can do, and then evaluate. So those are my positives. Some of my concerns, and we can just play tennis with this after. What's Seattle's biggest weakness over the last
Offensive line.
Offensive line.
And defense. Their defense has been trash too.
And their defense has been terrible too.
Right. So over the last 4 years, they've drafted 2 offensive linemen. That scares me. But
and then not only that too, they've taken them early too, and they busted too. That's
right.
Even more of a concern too. But go ahead, my fault.
Panther fans, we've kind of been used to being having luxurious first round picks in terms of the fact that we don't really miss too often under Hurney anyway. It's going to be a little bit more closer to. I'm not saying closer to David Gettleman in the sense that like Coney Ealy, Vernon Butler, but it ain't going to be no surefire like, okay, well, Marty Hurney picked this kid, so we know he's going to be straight.
Right.
It's going to be like we'll have to see. We're going to have to see. Maybe we're going to be better in the later rounds compared to, where Hurney was. And that's really where you build your depth to make a Super Bowl contender. But you can't miss early. Like, that's the thing. If you're going to get hit late, you also can't miss. Like, you can't be a complete bust early. So we can just kind of play tennis with that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That's a huge concern. I was trying to convey that earlier when we were looking at those the list of draft that they had. But I'll pull them up and we'll take a look. But it hasn't been pretty. I think early that 2012 draft really set them up to be really nice in the Super Bowl. But
that 2012 draft, man, was vicioso.
Yeah, the 13 draft is garbage.
Yeah, it gets bad.
You got a bunch of dudes who ain't really in the league.
And my thing is this: like, I love the trade back philosophy, but when they trade back, they haven't hit. They haven't hit. So although it's nice to do that, like it's not pretty. Let me pull this up real quick.
The biggest thing I'm excited for though is I do hope Brady gets a job and we can just.
Yep, turn the page.
Yeah, just turn the page. Like, let's just. If we're only a year into this offense,
I'll be clear. I'll be clear about this, and I'm just gonna be as clear as day. And I think Rashad kind of went to it. If Brady is gone and we get a new OC, I have no issue with us taking a quarterback in this upcoming draft. If Brady is still there, I do not want us taking a quarterback in this draft. Period. That's where I stand.
I don't really care. I mean, like if
No,
if
I care because I'm thinking about the confidence of the quarterback. I'm thinking
okay, but if the
about
right guy is there, like to me, I'm not in the first round anyway, right? I'm only pulling the trigger on Lawrence or Fields. Maybe Wilson if it was like later on. I'm not a big Trey Lance fan. I think he has garbage fundamentals. Mac Jones has been playing with multiple, like the best left tackle, the best center, the best right tackle.
Let me jump in here real quick. Speaking of that, I do have my top 10 quarterbacks dropping Saturday. So if y'all want to go take a look at my top 10 quarterbacks, it's going to be live. It's going to premiere at 12 o'clock noon on Saturday. So I think it's a nice long video too for y'all. So I'm going down, dropping all my top 10 2021 quarterback candidates. Go ahead, my fault.
But when I tell you about taking a quarterback, I'm talking specifically to the first round. I don't really think if you're not going to take one in the first round, to me in this draft specifically, I don't really see the point with you have so many holes. Like, what's the point of taking one in round 3 and doing a Will Grier project when you could go ahead and get safety or interior guard? Like you could get a quality guard who could probably start in round 3 versus getting a backup quarterback. That's just me. But if Fields is there for whatever,
but then again, bro, this man was there when they took Russell Wilson in the 3rd. Like that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but
like,
that's cool. But bro, like these other drafts are ass, man. They're not good.
Like, Russell Wilson is just like to get that in the 3rd round is literally hitting a needle in a haystack.
Because I mean we did the numbers about.
So the thing with Russ though is he got drafted to a beautiful situation. Like look at the defense they had. Like they had the run game, they had a beautiful situation, so it worked.
But they also had a guy they paid money to be the starter.
Yeah, they paid Matt Flynn.
So, like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, he got drafted to be the backup anyway, and then he ended up beating out Matt Flynn.
All right, like I see Slim saying, like, well, what round did Dak get drafted in? 4th round. Okay, the thing is, we never hear about the guys who also get drafted 4th, 5th, 6th round, quarterbacks wise, because we don't expect them to be anything. Like, no one's expecting Dak to be a franchise quarterback. So when that happens, you're like, oh my God, great, we found this value in the 4th round. But when you draft Rudolph in the same.
But the thing is, man, when you look at all the starting quarterbacks in the NFL, a lot of them weren't drafted in the 1st round. A lot of them weren't drafted in the top 10. A lot of them.
That's because we talked about this though. We don't got to rehash this, but we talked about it. Essentially, the quarterbacks drafted in the top 5, top 6, they go to ass teams and ass organizations, and they end up being bad because they're just not supported. That's all. These dudes have talent. Okay, some of them dudes got talent. They just get drafted to shitty situations, and it's just a fact. The later you draft, the better the situation that the quarterback is drafted into, and they can be brought on slowly. Okay, so it's just a matter of when you take the guy, the support system that they have. That's what matters when it comes to drafting the quarterback. Look at what Russell Wilson had when he became a starter. They had an elite defense. Like he was supported. He could make mistakes when he's got that good of talent around him. You know what I'm saying? So right. It's literally that simple. You support the guy, you give him an offensive line, you give him a run game, you give him some weapons, and you build up a team around him, and don't force a quarterback into a shitty situation. Like I feel like that's what we would do if we draft a quarterback this year. And we have Joe Brady's offensive coordinator. We're drafting a guy into a shitty situation, no offensive line, a defense that's improving, but it's just not a good situation. And then that offensive coordinator ends up leaving in 2022. Then you have to learn a new system. That's just now how it gets done. You know what I'm saying? You can't build it that way. So I mean, but
the draft picks, as far as the front office goes, I would really still like to see an assistant GM added, like Tepper said he was going to do. And if you want to put an analytics guy there, then I'm cool with that. I was just I think you all know this. I was when we talked about GM candidates, I was always very hesitant to putting a purely analytics guy with limited scouting into the general manager role. I think that role still needs to be a football person. So what do y'all think about adding GM or something?
I love this. I love the Seattle model. I love the Seattle model. Those co VP of football operations to kind of cross train each other. I love that because then you can just promote that guy whenever another GM leaves or whatever, or promote one of those guys. So I'm in favor of that for sure. I'm in favor of that.
I think, but we got to see what Tepper's going to do, right? Like so far, we've seen Tepper talk, and he doesn't do what he says he wants to do.
Yeah, I'm tired of listening to him. To be honest with you,
I'm looking forward to the press conference though, like whenever they have it.
I'm not looking forward
for sure.
to Tepper. I'm looking forward to what the new GM's going to say.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'm looking forward to what Tepper's going to say because Tepper's going to he's going to contradict what he said before. But what I hope,
somebody need to ask him the question.
Somebody's got to ask him the question.
Yeah, somebody's got to ask him, what the fuck was up with that analytics that you said? You said this, and you did it with the coach. You said you wanted an analytical guy, a GM, and you didn't get that. So what's up with the flip flopping? I would do it. Just give me my credentials because I would do it. I would. I promise you, I would.
Matt Willie.
I promise you, I would.
Matt Willie. Let's be clear. The situation of the OC leaving and affecting the QB is overblown, in my opinion. Nah, dog. You need to go and do some research, man. There's a lot of sometimes having multiple offensive coordinators in a short span can affect the quarterback position, no matter how talented you are. Like, does anybody think that Jason Carroll's a terrible quarterback? That man had 7 coordinators within a span of 8 years.
Look at Jameis. Jameis the same thing.
Look at Jameis. Like, you can't flirt it. You can't flourish that way when you got so much fluidity with your position. Even Cam had a ridiculous amount of OCs throughout his run too at the beginning. So you can't. That's not fair to the quarterback position. Alex Smith, as soon as he got stability within the OC, the dude finally started playing into his potential. It matters, man. It matters.
It matters. And you should you shouldn't want your team to be up here shifting picks and shifting OCs. That's just bad. Again, it's bad. And again, I agree. I think James said, you said it. Fam, if Justin Fields is sitting there at 8, by all means, take him. But what you should not do is expect him to come out day one slinging it and being a generational quarterback, because that's what we're going to expect. You're going to want to get Teddy Bridgewater out of here. You're going to want to see Justin Fields play, and then what's going to happen is he's going to become the starter in 2022 with a new OC, and then he's not going to play well, and then y'all going to want to kill him. Then y'all want to draft another quarterback. You can't see that coming. I see it coming 1,000 miles away, bro. I can see it. I see it. You see it happening all the time.
But then again, it goes back to what I just said, right? If Justin Fields is sitting at 8 and Joe Brady's still the OC, I think I'd rather have the corner. I think I'd rather have something else.
No, I'm taking Justin Fields, but he's a
quarterback. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we're going to have Joe Brady there that first year with the man, and then we're going to put another OC there when he gets a head coaching job, and y'all going to be wanting a new quarterback after that year.
If you sit him for a year and play Teddy, then because you end up cutting Teddy after the season regardless, right?
Right.
I don't expect Teddy to play so well where it's we got to bring him back, right?
Agreed. I agree.
You're not going to have an Aaron Rodgers year. If that happens, then, hey, we might be going to the playoffs, Super Bowl bound, but I'll be singing a completely different tune. I don't expect that to happen. So then you cut Teddy and you bring in your new guys. Yes, I guess you could say you wasted a year of the 5 years, but that's why you have a year option to get you back to 4, and you have now he's getting field time under one system. Is it perfect? No. That's why I'm the biggest advocate of Brady. Go ahead, take that Atlanta gig. Let's get the offensive staff correct. If Justin's there, take him. If not,
he ain't. Honestly, man, I don't know if he's going to be there at 8 for us.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be there. I'm just saying, the best case.
Because now
you're not there, take BPA or trade back, acquire picks, then take BPA. Because I think our biggest need is on the offensive line. I think you can get a left tackle, like Rashad said, at 15, or in the later part of the first round, early second round. I think Liam is going to be there in that area. I think your boy from
Darrisaw going to be there. I don't know if Slade is going to be out of here, but it's early. We got to wait to the combine. But there's going to be a left tackle there at pick 10 to 15. If you want to trade back, stay in that range 10 to 15, and you'll get a solid left tackle there. So I agree with that. I agree with that assessment. All right, real quick, let's get into these.
Y'all keep doing your thing.
All right, peace.
Appreciate it,
Yeah,
man.
if you want to get in here, the link is in the chat at the top. It's pinned at the top. So if you want to get in here, say something, just hit that link and join. We have no problem. But we're just gonna go through these drafts real quick. They take running backs like every year, bro. So look, they got
So
Spencer
you know what
Ware.
that you know what that means, right?
Yeah, they don't value them, Dave. That's what
They
that
don't.
means.
You know what else that means?
What does that
That
mean?
means McCaffrey. They might be asking McCaffrey to take a pay cut at some point.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. But they take
I'm
running
just
back.
I'm just trying to prep you guys. I'm trying to prep the CMC truthers who think you deserve all that money.
So Christian Michael, he had a nice little run. Spencer Ware had a nice little run with the Chiefs, but also 6th-round picks.
Hell no.
Clem Ham says trade to two. Nah, bro, you bugging. Appreciate the super chat, but you bugging. Go ahead, Dave.
Hell no. We're not. No. Pitts. No.
But we'll just chop this 2013 draft up as a loss. There's nobody I even know here, honestly.
I do. I know Christian Michael.
Christian Michael, Spencer Ware,
and Luke Wilson.
Jordan Hill. Oh, Luke Wilson, the tight end. Yep, he had a. Yep. Is he still playing for them?
I think he is.
They got Olsen. I think they drafted
there.
another tight end too. I can't remember, but
yeah, they got Hollister. Hollister.
Yeah.
Jake Hollister, I think his name was.
I don't know, but moving on. Paul Richardson. Go ahead, Dave. Go ahead, Noli.
I was going to say 2013. That looks like Panthers 2016.
Yeah, this is awful. That's an awful draft, bro. That's awful.
I mean, Luke Wilson showed promise. Spencer Ware did all right when he went to the Chiefs. Christian Michael showed sparks at times, but yeah, it was a tough draft.
I said Wilson got cut by the Raiders. Yeah, that's not good.
All right,
so then 2014, Paul Richardson, he had a nice little
start.
Was all right. Yeah, he was all right for a little bit, but 2nd round, I don't know any of these cats.
I know Norwood, but he wasn't that good.
I feel like he played for us. Didn't Norwood play for us?
He did.
Let me check this.
Do we know how much say Fitterer had in these draft picks as far as
he played for us?
Final call.
He did. Yeah, all right, you got it. All right, just check it. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that definitively.
Yeah, we traded for Kevin Norwood. We traded for that guy.
Yeah. See, I don't know any of these cats. So 2014, that's no bueno. They like taking linemen in the 2nd round. I tell you that. I see that as a ongoing thing. Frank Clark, that was a really good pick, but they ended up trading him. Lockett was a good. So this 2015 draft was solid. 2015 draft was okay. I'll take.
Well, now they just got Lockett. Really, I mean, the rest of these
first 2 hits. No, I think this. Oh, well, this dude got 4. What's this?
4 starts.
Oh,
no, that ain't it.
Yeah, it can't be starts. Okay, here's games. At least they're playing, right? I think that was that season. It could be that season.
Next.
So yeah, then this is when they had a 1st-round pick. This Afedi kid, he doesn't play with them anymore. I think he plays with the Bengals. I think when I was looking at it, so he's 2016 pick. That's not too long ago, so that's not good. Procise, another running back. I don't know any of these. Alex Collins, another running back. They took 3 running backs in this draft, bro.
Exactly.
Albeit the other one was 7th round, but still. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Reed is solid. Reed was solid. That's a good pick. So Reed. Other than that,
Procise was alright, but he was just alright.
This was draft. So look at the number of drafts.
This one here got folks they still got in the game. Like Chris Carson was a damn steal in the 7th round, and David Moore was too.
And Shaquille Griffin too.
Shaquille Griffin too, yeah. So there's a couple good folks in this one.
But later, and they're trading back here. I think this was the draft they traded back into the 2nd round. This dude was a bust. Malik Badal, he had a ATV accident, never got to play. He pulled Jason Williams. No good there. But yes, This is okay. Yeah, Chris Carson and Shaq, they kind of saved this draft, but there's really nothing. I'm not really like impressed. And then this 2018, Will Disley, he's tight. I remember him. He got some love.
Yeah, he's been playing.
Penny's a
He still plays
bust.
for him.
I don't know about Rasheem Green. Shaquem Griffin, I like this pick in the 5th round. Trey Flowers is a really good pick. In the 5th round too, that's a good pickup. This was okay.
I mean, well, the thing, if we're gonna give Scott all this credit, that it tells me that he can pick past the 1st round. So it's kind of like the opposite
Yeah,
of
but
Ernie.
but you can't do. I'd rather what would you rather have, Dave? Rather have a surefire 1st rounder or somebody that's hitting sometimes in the later. He's not all the time. It's not guaranteed, but he's gonna hit some in the later rounds.
But the thing is, too, you got to remember, Super Bowl teams are built in the later rounds. They're not built at the top of the draft. They're built in the second. They're built in the 3rd, 4th day, in the 2nd and 3rd day of the draft, not the 1st day.
But you need Super Bowl rosters are built by multiple hits, like in the 1st round and later in the draft too. So you gotta have a combination of both. That's where I'm hoping we don't start flopping on some of these. Like these 1st round picks, this draft was good. This one they got DK in the 2nd.
They got Metcalf, man.
Yeah, this was he kind of saves that one. Shout out to DeMarcus Christmas, Florida State.
What's the 20?
LJ Collier, I'm not sure about this cat. I don't know what he's doing.
It's too soon, but he ain't showed that much. Now this
I like
20 draft.
The Damian Lewis pick was cool. Dave, they are literally taking running backs every year. Bro.
Every year.
No, it's not. At first I was joking, but they are taking a running back every single year.
So that says something, bro.
Running back.
Dog, McCaffrey.
Running back. Running back.
The first thing they're gonna do is figure out a way within the next year or two. They're gonna figure out a way to get that deal right with McCaffrey. They got to. Period. That's the first thing they're gonna do. If they out here drafting running back every year.
Do you know his cap numbers his last 2 years?
The cap?
His cap numbers the last 2 years are 15 million and 16 million.
You talking McCaffrey? Oh, okay.
Yeah, his last 2 years, the cap number is 15 mil and 16 mil.
Yo, who did y'all kick out, man? I'm looking at the chat and it looks like y'all had some beef.
Yeah,
with
I was looking at that too, man. I wasn't even seeing what was going on, man.
He was spamming.
Okay. Shout out to 89J Stubbs. Marty drafted 10 times better, but nothing to show. Yeah, I agree. And if you go back, I think somebody had posted this earlier. Man, I wish I got to find that link. Give me a second.
About draft efficiency?
Yeah, the draft efficiency one.
But our guy's rated higher than Hurney.
Yeah, not by much though.
See, Marty
it
got
wasn't
the
by
first
much.
round. That's the thing. What do y'all think? Because maybe I've said it. We've been spoiled with 1st rounders, but out of 500 college players, I don't think you should ever miss on a 1st round pick unless it's injury related. But
most folks do. Most folks do. Like all 1st rounders ain't playing like that.
But think about it. Even we've gotten 1st round picks we should take for the Panthers, right? Like we wanted Burns. We said, remember, get DJ or Jair. I feel like you can get a 1st rounder, right? I don't see why you should. Granted, it's harder when you're picking in the 20s, but
it's way harder.
I get it if injuries happen. Like we took Jeff Otah, we traded back in. I get it, but I don't know how you do. I don't know. People miss even as high. But yeah, the McCaffrey deal, I agree, Dave, because right now his cap hit is 12 mil a year. And his 5th and 6th year is 15 mil and 16 mil. So they're going to have to do something about that because
they're going to change that deal, bro. And the thing is, I never wish injury on nobody, but he'll have more leverage if he gets hurt again. The Panthers will have more leverage if he gets injured again. It's going to be hard to do it if he's healthy remaining.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Here is the 10. This is the 10-year draft efficiency. So from 2010 to 2019, this is the draft efficiency. So you can see we're at the bottom, 27th in 10-year draft efficiency.
I'm trying to look at the Gettleman years and then look at the Hurney years. And the Gettleman
It ain't
years,
much.
Jesus.
Yeah,
But it's
it
worse than Hurney. That's the crazy part.
It is worse. It is worse. It is
2010, Hurney wasn't. No, Hurney was there. Yeah, Hurney was
Who's near
there.
the
Yeah.
top? Who are the top teams?
So Cleveland, San Francisco. That's because they had a multiple pick. They had a lot of picks over 10-year span. And then San Francisco, yeah, because they drafted high. They're hidden. You gotta look at the teams that were hidden. But again, I don't know how this is developed, so I can't really speak to its. I can't really speak to whether it's good or not. But I'm just pointing out the data.
Where are the
They're
Patriots?
at the bottom. They're at the bottom, right next to us.
Oh, they're down there.
Right along with Seattle.
I'm looking at 2017. That man got 1.18%. Do you know how? Damn. Yikes.
But again, I think we need to look into. Oh, we got.
Hey, get this Trayvon Henderson kid out of here too.
I think we got to see how much say he actually had.
Somebody boot this Trayvon guy.
Slim guy. That's what I want to know. How much say did he have? Was it maybe did he want some of these players, but John Schneider and that Kirkner dude override? Because at the end of the day, it was probably Pete Carroll, correct, and John Schneider who made the final call. So what say did this guy have? I think we won't know until he starts picking players here how well he's going to do, to be honest.
Yeah, we don't know. We have no idea. And it's all speculation at this point. So really quick, I did want to just look at their cap situation to see how they handle it. They're in a very similar situation with us. $17 million in cap going into next season. Then they got a huge boost. I think Russell Wilson's he must be up for a deal here soon. No? Oh no, they just extended.
Didn't they just pay him? Didn't they just pay him?
Yeah, he's through 2023, so they got plenty of time on that. But yeah, they got a shit ton of cap in 2022. Bobby Wagner. They're not paying. They're not playing a lot of guys, man. Between Russell Wilson and Bobby. Oh, that's 2022. Bobby Wagner, Carlos Dunlap. Oh yeah, Reed. They're gonna have to sign some rookies here pretty soon. Dwayne Brown, Tyler Lockett. Yeah, Jamal Adams. He's gonna be a big somebody they got to check if they want. Jamal Adams seems to be flaming out here pretty good.
Yeah, so they're gonna have to pay that man if he wants to stay in Seattle. They want him to stay in Seattle for sure.
Oh, my fault. Here come big Bassett. My fault. I just saw you, bro. What's good, man?
What's good?
You got anything to add here?
Not really. I'm just glad to see that we're finally doing something. Trying to make moves.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's pretty solid, man. Again, I'm not I'm not overly excited about it, but I'm not upset either. I just kind of am wait and see mode. We really have to see who's going to have control and how. Then I guess the next step for us as Panther Nation is we got to figure out who the offensive coordinator is. We got to figure out what the offensive coordinator situation is going to be, because no matter who it is or no matter what's going to happen, you got to pass the torch to somebody. Because Joe Brady, if he doesn't leave this year, he's going to leave next year. So we got to start to figure that out and have a backup plan. That way, if we do draft a quarterback, then you got some continuity there. You don't have to learn a whole new system. So that would be the next logical step. If I'm the GM, I'm bringing in an offensive coordinator, or have Rule bring in somebody else that can run his system. Because we can't do much without that.
Do we know if this guy's like active in free agency, or is he just
he's more of a scout. He's more of a scout guy. I think Seattle really I don't know how many they trade a lot. They trade a whole lot.
They traded for Jamal Adams. I mean, they'll trade a player.
Yeah, they'll trade 4 guys in a minute. They've had some really good trades in the past. Percy Harvin. They traded for a lot of dudes, man. So the trade history is there. Even going back farther than that, they got Bennett, Michael Bennett. They got him back in the day from the Bucks. So just kind of they will move and groove, bro. Seattle knows how to go out and get somebody. So that's a positive. They will trade. They don't just sit still. And I do like, and then we spoke about this earlier. They do trade a lot in the draft. They will trade back. I don't see too many trade ups, but they trade back a lot. They trade back a lot.
That's fine by me. I mean, you end up getting more value in the future.
Let me see if I can look up some Seattle free agent signings. See what they did.
I just want to be active in getting players. I don't want to just like sit around and just draft.
You got to get the. Well, I think that it's a delicate balance, right? You have to build through the draft. That's why we got a guy that is a good a scout guy, because you got to be able to build through the draft. And ultimately, what Super Bowl teams are built through the draft. You can go out and you can do with the Bucks and try to buy a chip. Oftentimes that doesn't work. Oftentimes you need to build through the draft and build some continuity. So that's why I like the personnel guys, the scout guys, because they typically know what they're doing. Again, Seattle doesn't have a lot to speak for in their drafts. Some of them joints was trash. Again, I question who was making the decisions. We don't know that. But again, Seattle has not drafted well over time. So we'll see what happens. And it's all about getting the right people, man. If you're moving to get the right people, somebody that's not happy, like a Jamal Adams, you go out and get those guys. But again, at the same time, you gotta be an attractive organization. And right now, we're not it. We haven't built enough to be an attractive organization for guys to want to come to. So that matters too. A lot of guys want to go play with Russ. A lot of guys want to go play for Pete Carroll because they have an established. I don't want to say culture. I think that's overrated. But they have something built. They have they have everything in place. So it's easy to go there and try to get a ring. We don't have anything to show for us here yet.
Yep.
So it's going to take time. It's going to take time for us to get there. All right. Any final words? I'm going to wrap this thing up. I wasn't going to be up here all day. Anything else? We'll go around the room. Nola, you want something? You want to say something?
Not much. Just agree with Dave. Such a low bar. Just dodged a bullet. And,
Listen, man. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Like, I mean, there's no other way to look at it, because you got to remember, we hired the GM after we got the coach.
I agree.
We should be happy. It will be an embarrassment if this man doesn't take this offer.
It would.
I'm gonna tell y'all that. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. Mm-hmm. Tepper, stop bidding down, my brother.
Yeah. He got a long way to work before he start getting the back up, bro. Because I can't believe it. Bro, what's up with this cat, man?
Another one?
Yeah.
So
it's the same guy.
Yeah, he probably has multiple accounts. I'm with Dave.
No, it's the same guy. This is the same account from before. Yeah, Slim, take him out.
No, it's two of them.
Maybe they got hacked.
Yeah, I'm with Dave. I think whatchamacallit, down the line, I do think Tepper is a type that would, because he cares about winning so much, he's not gonna let a coach like Arthur Blank stay 2-3 extra seasons longer than he should. So if the power struggle comes, and like you said, Dave, I do think Tepper would cut ties sooner rather than later. We'll see how far it goes. I think if the power struggle is there, Rule's going to have to make deep playoff runs to have a shot, because like you said, he hired somebody that's complete opposite. And we'll just see how it goes. I do think Rule will be able to hire his own offensive coach, though. I don't know too many GMs who pick coordinators over their head coaches. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm with Dave. Could have been worse.
Much worse. This is
funny.
I mean, the best case scenario was somebody.
Sorry, that's funny.
The best case scenario was to get somebody that might keeps Rule honest. So I think we got that.
It's a balance, man. It's a balance. You got to have somebody in place that's going to check this dude, not have him free reign. Because listen, if we give Rule free reign, the worst case scenario, we could end up like it could be a Bill O'Brien situation. That's why you need to have somebody to check this dude and not let him have free reign. Again, he has to have enough movement and freedom to kind of implement his plan, but at the same time, he can't go too far. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the balance is there for. And that's why I kind of like this dude. But Big Bassy, you got something you wanna say before we shut this thing down?
No, just
Ah,
you know, Panther Nation podcast is getting big whenever we start to get trolls in the comments.
yes, that's a fact. That's a fact, man. And I appreciate the day ones, man. Listen, we getting real close to 4,000, man. And we got there pretty quick in comparison to 3K. So listen, real quick, I can give y'all the rundown. Tomorrow at 12 o'clock, my Justin Fields video is dropping. So everybody go check that joint out. Tomorrow, Justin Fields film reaction video is dropping. So check that joint out. And then on Saturday, I'm following it.
Why are you out here? Why are you out here giving the Panther Nation
I'm
all
just
these
doing
false
it for
hopes?
Man, I'm just doing it, man. They're fun to do, man. I don't mind doing it. Just throwing on some film, taking a look, reacting. So Justin Fields coming out tomorrow at noon, and then we got on Saturday we got the top 10 quarterbacks. So I'm revealing my top 10 quarterbacks for the 2021 draft. And then I think I might do wide receivers on Sunday. So I try to do both on the weekends, my top 10 videos. So wide receivers on Sunday and quarterbacks on Saturday. And
All
then
right,
after that, go ahead, Dave.
Before we go, man, I'm going to try to get some picks out of you, bro, for these
Okay.
divisional playoff rounds, man. Who you got, Rams or Packers?
Be the Pack.
Packers? Yeah, I agree there. Bills or Ravens?
Give me the Ravens.
I think Buffalo will win if it snows. Ravens will win if it doesn't. Lamar's never played in the snow before.
Oh, I didn't know that. Good.
So I will give it.
Good.
So I'm going to give it to Buffalo if it snows, Ravens if they don't. Browns, Chiefs.
Oh, Browns, Chiefs. Oh, Chiefs. I don't know why it took so long to answer that. Give me the Chiefs. I had to think about it for a second. Give me the Chiefs.
All I'm going to say is this. I think that game's going to be closer, but I agree. Chiefs haven't been playing their best ball down the stretch.
It's playoffs, bro. They're going to hit the
switch. I get it. But Cleveland's got confidence, bro. And a confident team is a dangerous team in the NFL playoffs. But I still pick the Chiefs. Bucks, Saints. I think the Browns will cover the spread, whatever it is.
So I don't want this to happen. I do not like Tom Brady. And shout out to him, great player, but I don't want him winning any kind of more rings. So although I want Drew Brees, I'm going to cheer for the Saints to win. Sorry, I'm going to cheer for the Saints, but I think the Bucks come out on top. They're not going to be. They've been smashing the Bucks, bro. And
they're going to smash them again. I got the Saints smashing the Bucks. Yeah,
I got the Bucks. I got the Bucks winning this one, bro.
In New Orleans.
Ain't no fans there, is it? Ain't no home field advantage anymore, bro.
It don't matter. It's still a dome.
True.
It ain't outside.
That's a good point. That's true. That's true.
It's still breezing a dome.
I'm cheering for the Saints, though. I want the Saints to.
The only reason why I want the Bucks to win is then the Falcons can hire their GM, and then Joe Brady can get hired, and we can go ahead and move on with our lives. Right. That's the only reason why I wouldn't mind the Bucks winning, but I think the Saints are going to win that game.
Yeah. But yeah, those are my picks. So that's it. That's it. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, man. Try to get to 4,000 before the draft. Hit the like button. How many likes we got, bro? We probably 50 likes.
Get that like popping before y'all make y'all exit, ladies and gentlemen.
Hit the like button on your way out. And that's it, bro. That's all I got. We'll catch y'all on the next one. All right.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Peace, fellas.
Bye, guys.
See y'all later.